This episode is sponsored by Built by Plant Supplements, the elite plant-based nutrition supplement company. Provides you with support for all of your goals, whether that's building muscle, losing fats, improving your performance in the gym, and getting some great night rest. All right. So if you're tired of people asking you constantly, where do you get your protein? Tell them bbpsubs.com. Come over and grab you some vegan protein powder, chocolate frosty flavor. 110 calories per serving with 22 grams of protein. And if you don't like chocolate, we got a vanilla ice cream as well. You get your pre-workout powder so you can be a beast in the gym, and the creatine to support that muscle growth, all right? And if you really need some great night rest, go ahead and grab you some nightcaps. Good melatonin, gonna help you be knocked out, not waking up in the middle of the night, none of that bad stuff, all right? So bbpsubs.com, use the checkout code BBP10 and save 10% off your whole order. On top of that, free shipping over any order over $75. bbpsubs.com. Let's get back to the episode. This live is so important. I need y'all to share this. I need you to go ahead and send this to whoever is trying to lose weight and they struggling. They don't know what's going on. They think they're doing everything right, but they can't get it together, right? Yeah, eating good, eating healthy, as you see in the topic of the title, should I say, right? So we're about to break this down. I felt the urge to make this video ASAP for y'all. I was actually going to do just a pre-recorded video, but this requires more dialogue. This requires more thoughts and real live time conversation. All right, so we're about to dive into this. I got some notes right here, just a couple of highlighted words and topics that I want to hit on. I actually wrote a whole article about this topic about a year ago on builtbyplants.co, right? Builtbyplants.co. Y'all can go check it out there. But we're about to dive into this. So the other day, I was having a conversation with someone, and they were just telling me a little bit about why they were struggling with weight loss. You know, their goal was to lose about 25 pounds, 25 to 35 pounds actually. They did get some progress. They made some weight loss progress, right? But then they went back up a few pounds, and then, you know, they're just kind of like doing the, you know, up and down thing, as we call it. And that's common. That's common for the majority of people. It's usually we get some momentum, we see some weight loss, and then we hit like a little plateau, quote unquote, as we call it, right? But that's just due to not knowing what to actually do as far as the next steps, or really understanding what weight loss and fat loss is about, the ins and outs, versus just eating healthy. Because what does everyone say? Just start eating clean, just start eating more fruits, more vegetables, right? More nuts and seeds, those whole plant food diets, right? Or whole plant foods, and then you're going to see some weight loss. Now, to some extent, that can be true, and that is true, but it's a little bit more complex than just doing that, right? So we're about to dive into that. I think I want to start off, though. I think I want to start this conversation off by reading that article I was telling y'all about, because it's really important. The article I wrote, it really breaks all of this down. So just sit tight, stay, relax, chill. We're about to dive into this. And y'all gonna walk away with some gems, some understandings of what causes weight loss, what doesn't, why you're struggling, why you're still at a standstill, all that information. So let me share my screen with y'all. And you can see the article right here. All right. So the vegan fat loss myth. If you eat a whole food, plant-based diet, you don't need to count calories, right? Or AKA clean eating, right? If you just eat clean, you don't have to count your calories. And when I was talking to this person the other day, they were telling me about how they were eating. Let me finish that little topic up. They were saying that they were eating really good. They would have a big lunch, right? They would have like a big lunch, meaning a big salad, should I say. They would have lots of nuts, little seeds and things in there, leafy greens, all the good stuff. And then they would pretty much just replicate that for dinner. And I started diving more into the diet, right? Because we always think of what we eat as just our breakfast, our lunch, our dinner, and we ignore everything else that we put into our diet. I got to mention this. I forgot about this. This was the rest of the dialogue. And when I started digging a little bit deeper, I was like, okay, what about snacks? What you snacking on? And then it was like, okay, well, I have some fruit, but I would also have like a little bit of the Cool Whip and things like that on top of the fruits. And that just adds more calories to it, right? And then I started diving a little bit deeper. And then they brought out some other snacks that they would have. And then it was like, oh, I have this thing 3 times per week. And then I started asking about the drinks. Well, are you also drinking your calories? Like, what are you drinking? They brought up that they drink water, but they also drink coffee. And not just coffee, but flavor coffee, aka Starbucks. We just did a live a little bit earlier today about Starbucks. Um, Now, y'all know the flavor coffees are not what you want, right? They are really high in calories. They contain a lot of calories. And we don't view this as eating. We don't view this as something that's going to make us fat because we're drinking it. And it's not about what you're eating necessarily when it comes to fat loss. It's about how many calories are you taking in. And we basically realized that although those main meals that she was eating were considered healthy, she was still taking in way too many calories. Okay, so let's break all this down. Let's get into this. I'm gonna go back and share this article, and then we'll go back to the story. So let's get into this. Many vegans and plant-based eaters often think and preach that if you just eat clean, right, eat a clean WFPB diet, right, whole food plant-based diet, you will automatically lose weight because you're consuming all of your calories from healthy, nutrient dense foods. Now, there is some truth to this, as a lot of healthy, nutritious foods are ridiculously filling and are low calorie or low calorically dense foods. I pretty much eat 80% clean most of the time, and I definitely recommend it. But don't automatically assume that clean eating is the answer to your struggle for fat loss. Let me break this down to you. Pay attention to this part, all right? The rest of this insight down here. Pay attention to what I'm about to say next. Hopefully y'all can see this page. If you're if you're burning 2,000 calories per day and you eat 2,700 calories of fruit, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, you will down near have perfect blood work. But as far as fat loss, not happening. All right. Now this is really key. Really key. I'm gonna read that one more time. If you're burning 2,000 calories per day, right? That's how many calories that you're burning off per day for the full day. And you eat 2,700 calories, and those calories can be from fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. You will have good blood work, but weight loss, fat loss is not going to happen. You're still being in a caloric surplus, all right? You only should be taking in 2,000 calories or less to be in your deficit, but you're consuming 2,700 calories, and it's coming from good nutritious sources, but it's still too many calories. You're still taking in too much energy. On the flip side, if you're burning 2,000 calories per day and you're only eating 1,750, right, 1,750 calories per day, and it's solely coming from junk food, you will lose weight. You will lose weight. This is controversial. This is what a lot of the people that promote clean eating don't want to talk about. This is what this is against what the majority of people will consider to be the right thing to tell people, right? But I don't care about how you feel. Actually, it's funny because I said that in the next line, and this is over a year ago, and I still feel the same way. This is not about our feelings towards the two examples. This is about the fundamental principle of fat loss and how the body works. If you eat fewer calories than your body needs to maintain your current weight, then you will lose weight, regardless of the type of foods that you choose. It's all about energy balance. I just did a third. Okay, this was let me see. Yeah, this was like a year ago. So I didn't just do this, but I did a 30 minutes group lecture about energy balance with our coaching clients. You can access the full lecture inside the Built by Plants Pocket Coach. So if you tap right here, this will take you to the Built by Plants Pocket Coach. I'll drop this link in the comments so y'all can check out this whole article. And if y'all are interested in joining the Pocket Coach, let's go to builtbyplants.io and you can get access to that actual lecture. And it was all about energy balance that broke that whole concept down so you can get it. So this is what's interesting as well. About 12 years ago, a professor from Kansas State named Mark Hub ran a weight loss experiment to promote energy balance is the only thing that matters when it comes to fat loss. At the start of the experiment, he was 211 pounds with 33.4% body fat. And the next 2 months, he lost 27 pounds on a junk food diet of Twinkies, Doritos, and Oreos. You may think I'm playing. You may think this is a joke, and I'm not reading this. I want y'all to take the time to look this up. Kansas State University. Type in this name, Mark Hub or Hube, how you say his name, and type in junk food diet. This is a real thing. He actually ran an experiment where he lost 27 pounds. Y'all can literally look it up on your own phone or your own internet. Nothing that got to do with me. This is a real thing. And the point of this, the reason why I'm bringing this up, the reason why I wrote that in there and include this is not so much about to say that you should be eating junk food or that junk food is good for your diet or any of that stuff. It's just to prove that just because you're eating healthy does not mean, let me go back full screen so I can get this across. Just because you're eating healthy does not mean that you're going to lose weight. They are not synonymous. They're not synonyms, right? Healthy eating and, weight loss, right? Think about it. There are a lot of people that are at their ideal weight, right? And they still eat healthy right now. So does that mean that they're going to continue to lose weight just because they are eating healthy? Like, you can eat healthy and gain weight. You can eat healthy and lose weight. You can eat healthy and stay the same weight. Same thing for junk food. You can eat junk food and gain weight. You can eat junk food and lose weight. You can eat junk food and stay the same weight, right? I'm not trying to tell you which diet to eat. I'm not trying to tell you that you got to be vegan. I'm not trying to tell you that you got to eat a whole food plant-based diet. I just want you to learn the science. I want you to learn what causes weight loss so you can make the decision that works better for you and your lifestyle, your situation. All right, I just want to give you the resources, the tools, whatever you choose to do with it, that's what you do with it. Now, I have recommendations, I have best practices, and I have things that I think you should do, but you have to experiment and see what works for you. Weight loss comes from being in a caloric deficit, and that literally means that you're consuming fewer calories. You can choose the foods that you want to include in there, right? There are foods that you should be eating. There are food groups, should I say, that you should be eating so that you can make sure that you're getting the vitamins, the minerals, and then obviously the macronutrients as well. And there's a good mix of that, right? There's a good way to structure out your diet. But it doesn't matter where those calories are coming from for weight loss, for fat loss. There is a priority also for your protein so that when you do lose weight, you're not losing muscle mass because then, as I always say, if you lose weight and you're not focusing on protein and you're not weight training, you're just gonna lose. And if you're overweight, you're obese. Let's just say you 100 pounds overweight and you lose weight without prioritizing your protein or resistance training, you're literally gonna just look like a smaller version of your bigger self. You're not gonna have a shape defined, any of that, right? You're just gonna look smaller, even though you lost weight because you probably lost muscle in the process. So let's go back over here. Let's go back to this article. Let's scroll down. Here we go. Now, again, y'all need to download this article. Like I said, it's on my website. I wrote this about a year ago. All of these points are so important. They're so important, and these are the principles. And I promise you, if you apply this stuff, you will reach your weight loss goals, okay? The point is that his experiment backed up the fundamental law of fat loss. Eating a clean, whole food, plant-based diet won't contribute to fat loss if you don't maintain that caloric deficit. All right. This is why so many people, and I'm going to go off script a little bit, I'm not reading right now. This is why so many people gain weight when they get on a plant-based diet. Have you heard of that? Like, a lot of people, when they first start a plant-based diet, they literally gain weight because they're eating, and think about it. There are a lot of low-calorie foods on a plant-based diet, but there are a lot of high-calorie foods. Nuts and seeds, those are very high-calorie, low-volume foods, right? You can have a handful of nuts, and that can be easily 200 calories. And you eat those things, and then you're back hungry. When you're making your salads, the salad itself, it may be, let's say, 200 calories or 300 calories max for a big old bowl of salad, right? But then what do? We go and grab some salsa or some salad dressing or oil, even worse, and we pour it all over the thing. And we don't know how much we poured on that salad. Now that salad can be 1,000 calories, especially when you sprinkle in the nuts and seeds on top of it, right? So you got to keep in mind, although that salad itself started out as a good choice, it started out healthy, it started out low calorie and good for fat loss. It's about how you add the ingredients and everything else to it that determines whether or not it's going to be a good choice for your fat loss. Now, that's not to say that that salad can add more value to you as far as vitamins and minerals. It's perfect for that. Make sure that you're getting in all your leafy greens. Make sure that you're choosing to eat loads of spinach and arugula and kale. Those are some of what we call the quote unquote superfoods because they loaded with nutrients in them. But what else are you eating? What else are you combining with that, right? That's why we call it a diet, like an overall meal. Like, what are you eating all throughout the day? And this is also one of those reasons why I always say I don't believe in good foods and bad foods, right? We have an overall structure of foods that we eat throughout the day. And based off of all the choices that you made that day, that's what determines if your diet is good. It's not about eating one little small thing that we don't deem as healthy and then thinking that it's going to be bad for us, right? You can have a cookie per day in your diet and be perfectly healthy if the rest of your diet outside of that 200 calorie cookie was full with nutrient dense foods, right? So I'm going a little bit off script, but it's just a lot of thoughts that I need to get out, and I need y'all to understand this stuff, all right? Hit that like button if this is valuable for y'all. If y'all getting some value out of this, hit that like button or drop in the comments and let me know. Pay attention to this next part. Eating clean on a whole food plant-based diet won't contribute to fat loss if you don't maintain a caloric deficit. Let's talk about macros. All right, so many of y'all are confused with macros. Let's break this down. All right, macros, short for macronutrients. You have carbs, fats, and proteins. Now, when you pull up a nutrition fact on the back of that nutrition facts, right, on the back of the label of whatever that food is, I don't got nothing up here that I can pull up for y'all, but when you pull up the nutrition fact, you'll see that it has carbs, fats, and proteins. And they have a certain amount of grams for the carbs, certain amount of grams for the fats, and certain amount of grams for the proteins. Now, this is the understanding of that. This is the breakdown of that. 1 gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories, right? If you have 1 gram of carbohydrate, it's 4 calories. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of fats is 9 calories. Okay? 9 calories. These are your macros. 1 gram of carbs, 4 calories. 1 gram of fats, 1 gram of protein, 4 calories. 1 gram of fat, 9 calories. All right, so here's the part where people lose it. 1 gram of carbohydrate found in broccoli contains the same amount of energy as 1 gram of carbohydrate found in Oreos. All right. 1 gram of carbohydrates found in broccoli contains the same amount of energy as 1 gram of carbohydrate found in Oreos. Now, notice I said energy, right? I'm not talking about the micronutrient profiles. I'm not talking about the vitamins. I'm not talking about the minerals. I'm not talking about how much iron or potassium or any of that stuff. I'm talking about the actual energy inside of that macronutrient, right? Inside of that broccoli, inside of that Oreo. They both have the same amount of energy inside of it. They contain they contain very different micronutrient profiles, meaning vitamins and minerals, but as far as energy, they're the same. Not understanding this is why so many people who are eating vegan diets fail to lose weight just trying to eat clean. Now that my point has been made, I definitely recommend you eat more whole plant-based foods and track your calorie intake so that you can understand how many calories you're consuming. Nutrient-dense plant foods give our bodies the vitamins and minerals, which is required, but they can also give our body an excess of calories if you're over-consuming and picking high-calorie dense options. Learn to track your caloric intake so that you can understand the number of calories that are in the food choices you're making to ensure you're in a calorie deficit. Now, if y'all are still with me, you should have a little bit of a better understanding, and I'm going to break this down even more. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth, all right? But you should have a little bit of an understanding of what it means to eat healthy versus what it means to eat for fat loss. And if you don't, let me elaborate this. Healthy eating shouldn't be viewed as the individual food choices that you're making. We shouldn't view our lunch as healthy. We shouldn't view our dinner as healthy or not healthy. We should view everything we ate for that full day, and this is specifically for fat loss, right? We should eat everything that we ate for that full day to fit the macros that we need, the calories that we need to ensure that we're doing the right things for our goals. So let's start shifting our mindset from just if it's healthy or not to does it fit our caloric intake for the day. If I'm, let's just say I'm 300 pounds, right? And to start losing weight, I need to start consuming 2,500 calories per day. That's my mark, right? That's what I need to hit regardless of what I'm eating. Now, obviously, make good decisions, right? Make sure that you get your vitamins. Make sure that you get your minerals. If you see me looking over here, I'm just checking to make sure that I'm not freezing up on the live. I got me right there, just to make sure the Wi-Fi and everything is good, because I'm streaming through multiple places, Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff. Make sure that you're taking in that amount of calories and not overdoing it. What's the number one way to make sure that you're not over consuming your calories, that you're not in a calorie surplus, but that you're in a calorie deficit? The number one way is by tracking what you're eating. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't want to track their food. You probably just got frustrated because you're like, damn, you about to talk about tracking again. Like, you got to track what you're eating. You don't have to, right? You don't absolutely have to track what you're eating to lose weight. But at the same time, let me ask you this. Do you have to have the gas meter? It's got a comment through Facebook. Stefan, thank you for explaining this. Thank you for watching. Um, let's just go with a car example, right? The little gas wand, the little gas hand, right? When I was like 19, I used to work for Firestone, and I had this 1999 Chevy Malibu, right? The gas hand did not work. It just stayed like on the angle, right? It just stayed looking like it was a little bit over full. It didn't work. I had to decide and determine when to put gas up in there, right? I could put gas in there or I could not put gas in there, right? I could have enough gas to get back and forth or I could not. Just because I don't know how much is in there, or should I say, just because I can't see how much is in there, that don't mean that I'm not on track to, get to where I'm going. If that gas hand did work, that would give me a much better indication on whether or not I have enough gas to get where I'm going. But just because the hand didn't work, just because I couldn't track how much gas I had in that car, doesn't mean that I still couldn't make progress. You can make a lot more progress when you know for exact, or should I say, you can make a lot more progress when you know exactly how much you need to be fueling your car with, right? Let me give you a better example because I don't know if that explained it well enough. Let's just say we'll stick with the cars. Let's say you're trying to drive from the house to Six Flags or something, right? And you've never driven there before. You can either use a navigation map, GPS, or whatever to get there, or you can choose not to. Just because you don't use that navigation or whatever, the phone or whatever to get where you're trying to go, that don't mean that you're not going to make it there. It may just take a whole lot longer because you're just trying to freestyle and figure it out yourself, right? But if you got that map, if you got the navigation, if you can see exactly where you're going and how many more miles and how many more minutes and such, and which best ways to get there, it's going to help you get there a lot faster. That's the same way that it works when it comes to tracking your foods. If you're tracking your foods, you know exactly how much you're taking in. You know for lunch you had 650 calories with 52 grams of protein. You know that for a fact, regardless of what else happens for the day. You know for dinner you had 722 calories with 40 grams of protein, right? You feel so much more confident at the end of the night because you know that you didn't go over your calorie limit, right? And if you go over your calorie limit for that specific day and you do that multiple days in a row, you're not going to lose weight. But if you also are tracking that, you know you have the confidence now because you have the data, right? And when you can look at data, you can pretty much navigate through life assured, right? So every single day you should be tracking what you're eating. You should have a food scale. Let that be number one. If you don't have a food scale, go on Amazon. This is what I tell all of our coaching clients and our Pocket Coach members. If you're not a part of the Pocket Coach, go to builtbyplants.io, sign up for the Pocket Coach. We got the virtual kitchen there. We add new recipes every single month. We do virtual calls every Sunday with all the Pocket Coach members and all the clients. We hop on the calls, we cook things, we do meal preps together through Zoom, all type of cool stuff. Join the Pocket Coach, right? The price is actually about to go up. It's $27 per month right now. It will be going up to $49 per month, and then it may go up, after that. Join the Pocket Coach. You need to be weighing out your foods. You need to be knowing exactly how much you're taking in. Go to Amazon.com, grab a food scale, right? The food scale, you can get a food scale for as low as maybe $8.99. You can spend up to like $40 on one for a good quality one. I recommend you get a good quality one. You can get one for about $25 for a 4-star one, and just start weighing out the foods that you're eating. There's more videos on the channel that shows you how to weigh out your foods. Where I'll go a little bit more in depth. You weigh out everything in grams, because the grams are the same across the board when it comes to the liquids, when it comes to the solid foods, all those things out, weigh it out, right? When you weigh it out, you should have an app that you can use like MyFitnessPal, or if you have the Built by Plants coaching app, we have our own version of MyFitnessPal inside of there. Weigh out those foods and enter it. It's going to tell you how many calories are in that certain amount of food that you just weighed out. And this lets you know how much you're eating for the day. And if you can stay in a calorie deficit every single day, or the majority of the days, right, and hit your protein intake for the majority of the days, and do that consistently, then you're going to make sure that you lose weight. You're going to be essentially entitled to weight loss, and you're going to do it so much more confidently because you got the data. And if you don't, let's just say you start making some progress, you lose about 10 pounds or so, and then you do hit a plateau. You know why you're hitting a plateau, because you lost 10 pounds. You need to be adjusting your calories, or either increasing your energy output, meaning exercise, cardio, walking, those type of things. You need to make some adjustments. So now you know what to adjust, though. This is what's important. You don't know what to change if you're not tracking anything. How can you make changes within your diet if you don't track any of the data, right? That's essentially like saying, okay, well, I need to figure out what changes I need to make to, let's just say your money or something like that, right? If you're not tracking where you're spending your money, what changes do you need to make with that? How do you know what changes you need to make with it? Same thing, same concept, all right? So in order for you to make some changes, is when it comes to your calorie intake, you need to know how many calories you've been taking in prior, the year before, not the year before, but like the week before, the past month before, and you could look at it. So if I was taking in 2,500 calories for a full month, right? I was taking in 2,500 calories for a full month. And by the next month, I lost 10 pounds, and I'm still taking in that same 2,500 calories. Maybe it's time to lower those calories. Maybe I need to drop them down to 2,300, right? Or if you're not the type of person that likes to operate on low calories, maybe you need to increase your activity levels. Maybe you need to add another cardio day or something into your routine, right? So think about all these little different things that you can do. But it all comes from tracking. It all comes from understanding what you're doing and having a game plan, right? Let me highlight some of these comments. I'm not sure how to say your name. Stephine from Facebook says, "Thank you for explaining this." I think they're inside of the Facebook group. We have a free Facebook group. Just go to Facebook and type in Built by Plants, and look under the group category, or maybe I'll drop it in the comments. Somebody, I'm not sure who this individual is. If you can drop your name. Drop your name in the comments, because it just says Facebook user right here. They're definitely inside the Facebook group, maybe. But for some reason, it's not picking up their name. But I lost 19.7 pounds tracking my food on the Pocket Coach. I haven't tracked in a while, and now I'm gaining. Makes sense. Based off of the weight that you lost, I'm gonna say that might be Tiffany. I feel like that's Tiffany. But drop your name in the comments so I can know who it is. Tiffany. Yep. Yeah. Cool. Well, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that in order, Tiffany. We're gonna get that in order, and I'm glad that you brought that up. 'Cause that's a perfect example. Let me put that back up. Because when you're weighing out your foods, when you're tracking, you know exactly what you're taking in, right? And you know what adjustments to make. So it just helps. It just helps. It just gives you the data in order to make better decisions, right? It's hard to make better decisions if we don't have the information in order to know what we need to change or what decisions we need to adjust, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Something else to keep in mind is um, when it comes to eating healthy is figuring out what those easy meals that you can make that won't take that much time to make or to prep ahead of time, right? If you're not the type of person that needs to eat something, first of all, let me say this: you shouldn't be trying to eat a whole large variety of different foods every single day for lunch and for dinner if your goal is fat loss, right? If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to hit a weight specific goal or a fat loss specific or body fat percentage or whatever it may be, right? You shouldn't be trying to eat a whole bunch of different meals throughout the week. Unless you're trying to transition to a plant-based diet and that's your main focus and you're just trying to see what all foods are out there, then that's cool. That's understandable. But if your goal is specifically, I got a deadline, I'm trying to hit this specific goal, you shouldn't be trying to expand and have make a bunch of different meals because it's just overkill and it's not sustainable necessarily unless you work from home or you ain't got a lot of responsibilities and you can't cook every single meal, a bunch of different things. It gets expensive doing that too. So simplify it, all right? Choose something that you like, maybe one or two different meals throughout the week that you can make, that you can meal prep. You don't have to meal prep. I really don't meal prep that often because I eat the same things. So if you eat the same foods, it's really easy to, make them, right? Especially if you have air fryer or things that simplify the process for you. But that's what I want to talk about. I want to go into a few other things as well that were just on my mind. And again, it's watching what I like to call sneaky snacks, right? Or sneaky calories. And those are the calories that are in these foods that we don't necessarily think about. And this is another problem with not tracking your foods. When you don't track your foods, you can forget about those little small things that you've eaten throughout the day. And you don't think about it because you just hurry up and ate it and because maybe you had a call coming up or maybe you were working or whatever it may be. It's kind of hard to remember every little thing that you eat. So as opposed to trying to worry about, tracking all of it, maybe cut it out. And if you can't cut out the snacking, then write it down, right? Or get an app or join the Pocket Coach, right? Or just go to the App Store and download the Built by Plans coaching app. And I think we have a 30-day program that you can try out and you can use the nutrition scanner that way so you can track those foods and things like that. All right, give that a try. But the goal of that, the purpose of that is to pay attention to those little calories that you're eating every single day that add up. Because like I mentioned earlier, it's not about the main meals usually. It's usually everything else that's causing the weight gain. It's usually everything else that we're eating that we're not paying attention to. Whether we're just eating while we're working or we're eating while we're on the go. We're eating and we're not really thinking about it. So those little snacks and the littlest things are usually the ones that have the highest calories, right? So pay attention to that. A lot of the processed protein bars or all those things. It's not that it's bad for you, but they usually are pretty high in calories. So find some easy go-to snacks that you can eat that are high in not high in calories, high in volume, right? Low in calories, and make those your go-tos if you do need to snack. For example, I always say grab seaweed snacks. Seaweed snacks are probably some of the best snacks that you can have. Um, you have to get used to it if you're not a fan of seaweed or you're not used to having seaweed, but just give that a go and see what you think about those. Because prior to going vegan, I was like, why would anyone want to eat seaweed? And then I actually started trying it and I was like, this ain't that bad actually. And they got different flavor ones now, so you can play around with those. But like a pack of the seaweeds, it's probably about this thick or whatever. They like little paper. If you like crunch or salt or whatever, like you got cravings for that, whatever. You can have those on the go. A whole pack can be like 25 calories, 50 calories max, and it's just something if you just need that urge from time to time to just snack on something. If you're gonna snack on things that's gonna be high in volume, low in calories, or just nutritious, right? Obviously, fruits. Those type of things are also great snacks. Or protein shake. Grab yourself good protein powder. Obviously, we have the BBP subs protein powder back there. We got the vanilla ice cream, and then we also got the chocolate frosty right there behind me. That both are at bbpsubs.com, and a whole bunch of other things up there as well. So you can check it out. Grab yourself a good protein powder. Make a protein shake. Have that to go, right? And whenever you find yourself getting hungry or whatever, or a craving, have yourself a protein shake, something like that. You can make your own ones. Um, Let me see. I have what we have. Somebody just comments. Dominique says, I hate to say it, but consistency is overrated. You are better off being intense. You can be consistent and still look the same for 10 years from my experience. What are your thoughts? Um, I think I get what you're trying to say. What I would say about this is I wouldn't use the word consistency is overrated, right? Because if you're consistent and you look the same, um, literally specifically says you can be consistent and still look the same 10 years later from my experience. So that wouldn't be a consistency thing, all right? Because whatever you're being consistent at, you're going to get good at. So maybe it's you need to change what you're being consistent at, right? If you're consistent, for example, if I want to learn how to shoot a basketball, right, and I'm steady shooting every single day and I'm steady missing the same exact way, it's probably not the fact that I'm being consistent that's a problem. It's probably the fact, or it's probably the way that I'm shooting the ball. Maybe I need to change my form, or maybe I need to do a little bit more research on why I can't make the shots, or maybe I'm following the wrong guide or the wrong coach or the wrong system, whatever, right? It's not consistency that's the issue. Because consistency is going to be the only thing that gets you to your goal. It's just about what are you being consistent at, right? We can't accomplish anything without consistency. Think about it this way as well. I do agree that there are times to be intense, right? It's not that that's the wrong thing. You can be intense and you should be intense when it comes to going after your goals. But what if you were trying to, let's just say you have 50 pounds to lose, and you were very intense to lose that 50 pounds, and you're also saying that consistency is overrated. Well, what about once you lose that 50 pounds? Are you not going to be consistent at what you were doing to lose it? Because if you're not consistent after you lose that weight, then you're probably going to go back to the same diet or the same weight you were prior, right? So it's about learning better habits, right? It's kind of hard to stay consistent for 10 years and not see much change unless your habits didn't change. So it's probably the habits that you want to learn how to adjust. It's probably the behaviors and things, right? It's kind of hard to do something for 10 years consistently and not see the fruits of your labor unless you're just following like the wrong system or the wrong diet or the wrong methods, right? So give me some more details though. When you say consistent for 10 years, and what does it say specifically? You can be consistent and still look the same for 10 years. Um, 10 years later from my experience. I do agree with that though. I do agree with the fact that some people are very consistent, but they're consistent at the wrong things, right? That's a real thing, you know. Think about it this way. Um, the great speaker Jim Rohn once said that motivation isn't what we need, right? Um, Sometimes it's direction, right? You don't want to go and motivate an idiot. Then he's just going to be a motivated idiot doing the wrong things even more, right? So sometimes it's just direction. You can be consistent, but you could be going the wrong direction, right? So just because you're being consistent don't mean that you're going to get the result that you want. You probably just need to change the direction that you're going in, right? So give me some more details. Not going to expand on that, but I do agree with the sentiment that being consistent isn't all that we need to do, right? There's a little bit more to it than just being consistent. There's a lot of people that spend years and years in the gym. They're in the gym consistently, but they're not seeing results. Maybe they're following the wrong training program. Maybe they're not giving it their full effort, right? Maybe they're trying to get stronger, but they're doing movements that you know they shouldn't be doing. Like for example, Maybe they want to build their butt, but they're bench pressing all the time. Like you can be consistent at bench pressing. You're never going to build your butt by bench pressing, even though you're being consistent. So I agree with the sentiment. I would just change the way that I worded it because consistency is the only way that we can get to what we want, especially when it comes to this, like health, nutrition, those type of things. So um, I see what you're saying though. And where was I? Where was I with that? It was something else that I want to touch on with you all. Hopefully this is valuable. Hopefully this sparked some ideas and gave you all some insight on some of the things that you can be doing to get some results. Right now I'm drinking our BBP Wild Jungle Punch. Y'all can grab this at BBP Subs. I'm gonna get ready to get a workout in after this talk. Um, let's see what we got. You just summed it up at the end with the example of being in a gym. Yeah, I agree with you ultimately. I think it was just like one of those. I think it was just the consistency thing with the overrated part that I got confused because, like I said, consistency is the only way to get what we want when it comes to like fat loss results, health results, muscle building results. It's just about like what are you being consistent at? Are you going in the right direction? Are you building the right habits? You know, um, are you doing the right things and making the right decisions on a day to day basis? Um, you know, some people are also just for example as well. We talk about some people don't have good habits, right? Or we talk about some people they are um, like overweight and lazy, right? It's not that we're necessarily lazy. We just enjoy doing certain things. Some people really enjoy chilling, right? Some people really they'll sit down and watch TV for hours and hours and hours. And like I said, I'm non-judgment zone. Do whatever you want to do, but they're really consistent at doing that. They're really good at doing what they're doing that got them in the shape that they want to be. Because we're all in shape, right? Nobody's really out of shape. We're all in a shape. It's just the shape that you're in is that the one that you want to be in, right? You can be really fit, you can be unfit, right? All of that stuff really is a thing, right? If you don't like the shape that you're in, you just need to change the direction that you're going in. You need to get consistent at doing something different. So that's the overall point. I just want us to view the fact that we do have to be consistent. We just have to be consistent at the right things. But going back to the overall topic, drawing it all back in, bringing it all back in, because I know I've been veering from certain things. Healthy eating is amazing. Clean eating is good, right? I'm not here to say that it's not. I just don't want you all to be frustrated with the results that you're getting because you're putting so much effort into eating what you think is the right way to eat for fat loss and not getting results that you want. Focus on the things that matter when it comes to fat loss. Number one, calorie deficit. It really it does matter about the foods that you're eating for health, right? But when it comes down to calories, when it comes down to fat loss, it's not about eating as healthy as possible. It's about eating foods that allow you to stay in a calorie deficit for a period of time in order to reach your body fat percentage or your body fat goal, right? The goal that you want. That's what it's about. So if you can stay focused long enough to reach that goal, being in a caloric deficit is what's going to help you accomplish that. You have to be in a caloric deficit, and that deficit has to change from time to time. After your caloric deficit, then your protein. You have to be taking in enough protein in order to reach that body goal. Because protein, when you're in a calorie deficit, right? And let's just change calorie deficit to energy deficit. We need energy. Energy is what moves us. Energy is what how we like. Right now, I'm burning energy. This allows me to conduct myself. This allows me to talk with you all because I've had calories, right? The calories I took in, it gives me what I need to be able to talk and interact and move and all this stuff. Everything that we do burn calories, right? But if we burn calories long enough for days and days and days, eventually our body rather burn the calories from the muscle that we have, right? Our body rather take the muscle that we have on our body and use that, right? Get rid of that first other than the fat. The body wants to store the fat that we have. That's how we have fat on us. It's fat storages, right? It's just stored energy. All that fat that we can grab on our stomach and stuff, don't view it as fat. View it as like energy bars, essentially, right? That just haven't been burnt off. All of this fat that we can grab is just stored energy that we haven't burnt off yet, that we haven't utilized. But the body would rather keep that because that's not as energy intensive. The body can hold on to that better than it wants to hold on to fat because muscle burns more calories just by having more muscle on you. So it prefers to get rid of that muscle first versus getting rid of the fat first. The way that we prevent that is through resistance training, which means giving our body a reason to grow, giving our body a reason to put on more muscle or to hold on to the muscle that we have because we're providing stress, external stress to our body, right? If we can move our body through ranges of motions under loads, which is weight, right? Lifting weights, bench pressing, deadlifting, squatting, all those different movements, we're essentially stressing our body out and causing it to build and repair and put on more muscle. And also protein. Protein is the building blocks for the muscle that we want, right? It gives us what we need. It's like the bricks, right? And when we're training, that's us laying those bricks. It's giving us that foundation and such. And then obviously sleeping is when the bricks are actually being repaired. It's when the muscle is being repaired. So calories deficit first, protein, getting enough protein, resistance training. After that, then you also want to make sure that you're getting in some cardio, getting active. That's going to cause you to burn more calories. When you're burning more calories, it works in addition to being in a caloric deficit, right? So you're consuming fewer calories, you're burning more calories, you're weight training. So it's going to all prioritize fat loss versus muscle loss, right? So you're giving your body a reason to hold on to that muscle mass that it has, right? All these things work in combination. And then obviously hydration, drinking enough water, eating enough fruits, right? Getting in a lot of good healthy sugars through fruit and such, which is not bad sugars. A lot of people think that we shouldn't be eating fruits for some weird reason. It's like no, like fruits are amazing. Make sure that you're eating fruits that are really high in water content. So lots of melons, lots of berries, and those type of things. That's going to be really beneficial for you. After that, just walk, right? Just go for walks. If it's hard for you to start getting to the gym, you're scared, you're worried about it, just start going for a walk. Like after this live, get up and go for a walk, right? You can start making progress right now. You don't gotta wait till Monday, right? That's the worst time to get started. The best time to get started is right now, right? So start making these little changes. These are the keys, but whatever you can do, like within the next hour to make some progress towards this, do that, right? That's always going to be the best thing that you can do. Invest in some education. If y'all need help, right? If you need some guidance, you need some resources, you need a coach, you need people to check up on you or check in with you, there's a link in the description where you can schedule a free coaching call with us, right? I hop on a call with you, put together a game plan to help you reach your goals and just guide you through that process, give you the tools so that you don't have to figure this stuff out yourself. You can hop on our Sunday calls. Every Sunday we get on the call and we go over how your week's been. What's your week been like for you? We do live cooking sessions. So if you don't know how to cook, hop on the calls. We show you the best tools to use, all those different type of things. And we have a community where we gather and support each other. All right. After that, after all those different things, then you can focus on the specifics of as far as the certain foods that you're eating, because certain foods are better for fat loss than others. And when I say better for fat loss, I'm talking about low calorie foods, foods that don't have as many calories, foods that you can eat a lot more of versus little things that you eat that have high calories and then you're still left feeling unfulfilled and hungry, right? So pay attention to all those little details. Hopefully this brought some value to you all. Hopefully, let me take this off. Hopefully this was beneficial. If y'all do have any questions before we wrap up, feel free to drop them in the comments. I guess I'll wait a couple of seconds just to see if y'all dropped it. If you did enjoy this, make sure that you hit that share button, share this with someone. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you're not subscribed, and then drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this and what other topics y'all want me to talk about, because I would love to go live. I'll go live. I really want to start going live daily, honestly. Just provide as much game as I can to y'all. Give you as many plays, different type of things, strategies and such. So drop some comments, shoot some DMs, follow on Instagram at Mogul Naj. But other than that, we're gonna get out of here. All right, I gotta get my session in, so I will catch y'all later. This episode is sponsored by Built by Plant Supplements, the elite plant-based nutrition supplement company. Provides you with support for all of your goals, whether that's building muscle, losing fats, improving your performance in the gym, and getting some great night rest. All right, so if you're tired of people asking you constantly, where do you get your protein? Tell them bbpsubs.com. Come over and grab you some vegan protein powder, chocolate frosty flavored. 110 calories per serving with 22 grams of protein. And if you don't like chocolate, we got a vanilla ice cream as well. You get your pre-workout powder so you can be a beast in the gym, and the creatine to support that muscle growth, all right? And if you really need some great night rest, go ahead and grab you some nightcaps. Good melatonin, gonna help you be knocked out, not waking up in the middle of the night, none of that bad stuff, all right? So bbpsubs.com, use the checkout code BBP10 and save 10% off your whole order. On top of that, free shipping over any order over $75. bbpsubs.com. Let's get back to the episode.